This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. It's a freaking Monday. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. What'd I do? I watched The Unforgiven in HD surround sound. The storm fucking shook the windows of my apartment. Friday night I watched the Blues Brothers in surround sound in 4K. I'm sure my neighbors can't stand me. That bass really slaps in that movie. It's a new month. Happy Impeachment Month. Are you guys ready? We are up on it. The second impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump starts next week. As a political junkie, I am stoked. It's my Super Bowl. And apparently that's coming up sometime soon too. Somebody was trying to troll me. They made multiple comments on my page, but I love this one. She called me a pothead and told me I suck. I love that, like, she came up with the idea that I was a pothead by looking at cartoon me, which it's not far off. Cartoon me looks an awful lot like me. I think I did a good job making him. Freaking fun fact, I actually own that suit and tie combo. The tie actually has some little, like, yellow dots on it. I didn't put those on there because I wasn't that meticulous. But enough about that. Also, it is February. I make the best playlists on Spotify. My bangers for Black History Month is a can't miss. Let me grab the, if you'd like to give it a follow. Boom. It covers all the decades. Also, I have a fantastic, Sexy Funky Time Fuck Jams is the name of my sex playlist. It is A1. But anyway, you didn't come here to hear about my personal life. You came here to hear about the news. And the news of the day is Biden and his $1.9 trillion proposal. Sexy Funky Time Fuck Jams. The last person I had over for intimate time, I told them it had been a while, and it had been a while. And I walked into the bedroom, and I said the magic words to the thing, and I said, sexy time. And all the lights changed, and the music came on, and shit. They were, I thought you said you didn't do this often. That doesn't mean that I don't have Google commands to change everything. Different moods. Are you guys excited about the impeachment trial? I am going to be here with the proceedings all week long. I reserve the right not to do a show in the evening time. But the impeachment proceedings may go very well into the evening time. They'll have a section where they just approve the rules for the impeachment, and I probably won't carry that. But once we get into the actual trial and the calling of witnesses, oh boy, I'm gonna be glued to it. So be sure to tune in for that. President Biden is pushing to pass a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 bipartisan. He wants Republicans along for this. We're gonna be talking about this. According to the Democrats and the Democratic caucus, they're gonna go through with this one way or the other. Whether they can get 60 votes to pass a filibuster, or if they have to do reconciliation and do it with 50 votes. Reconciliation, they get like one every fiscal year that they can pass a budget bill with just a simple majority. That's what reconciliation is. So Democrats have threatened to go through with it through reconciliation if they do not get any Republican support. We're going to talk about all this here in just a second. A group of GOP senators, we're going to hear from them in just a moment, announced a $600 billion counter proposal on Sunday. Now think about that. Joe Biden proposed $1.9 trillion. The GOP compromise was to say, oh, how about $600 billion? Like, these motherfuckers are just like brazen. Biden hosted the Republican lawmakers in the Oval Office today to hear out their plan. Here's a look at the key differences. So, okay, we're going to hear from the... I want to see some of these key differences. A memo being circulated by the Senate Budget Committee tonight lays out the framework and rationale for Democrats beginning their budget reconciliation process, a procedural tool that will allow them to pass the president's COVID relief plan with a simple majority. So it looks like they have decided, fuck the Republicans. Good on them. They could just be playing hardball to announce that. After the Republicans came out, they gave their little press conference here. Looks like Susan Collins is the ringleader of them.
Yeah, I did. Good evening, everybody. We have just had a very productive, cordial 2-hour meeting with the president and the vice president and some of their key aides to discuss the next steps on the COVID relief package. We outlined for the president the provisions that we have proposed as part of an approximately $600 billion package.
What you propose is a slap in the face to the American people.
More depth.
With all due respect, Mrs.
That,
Collins.
Senator
Collins.
Fleshed out as much in the package, the $1.9 trillion package, and it was a very good exchange of views. I wouldn't say that we came together on a package tonight. No one expected that in a 2-hour meeting. But what we did agree to do is to follow up.
People of Maine, if there's anyone watching this stream or the clip on YouTube at a later date right now, then you are from Maine, and you didn't do everything you could to unseat this woman. I hate you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. And fuck Susan Collins.
And amongst ourselves and with the president and vice president on how we can continue to work together on this very important issue. All of us are concerned about...
Susan, I don't think you find it very important.
Small businesses, an overwhelmed healthcare system, getting vaccines out and into people's arms, and strengthening our economy.
Get that jab, bitches.
The public health crisis that we face. So I think it was an excellent meeting, and we're very appreciative that as his first official meeting in the Oval Office, the president chose to spend so much time with
sucked the ass of some shitty Republicans.
Discussion. finally, let me just say that we have demonstrated in the last year that we can come together on a bipartisan package dealing with the COVID crisis. In fact,
Bipartisan to Republicans is capitulation.
we've done it 5 times. And I am hopeful that we can once again pass a 6th bipartisan COVID relief package. Any of my colleagues want to say anything? Thank you.
The White House is arguing you have to go big, not small. Is that $600 billion your top?
Yeah, that $600 billion is fucking not enough. All right, let's go back to that CNN article that we were reading. So they're gonna, the Democrats will unveil their budget resolution tomorrow. They're moving forward without.
I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second here just to listen.
Without the GOP, no stimulus deal reached with White House. GOP senators say. Democrats moving forward. Because they should. But hey, according to John Cornyn, there's going to be repercussions. Democrats are going to regret moving forward with reconciliation.
Once again, with the filibuster, legislative filibuster still intact, our Democratic colleagues are no doubt considering a plan to shove President Biden's massive coronavirus relief bill through the Senate using reconciliation. And that plan involves ignoring many adverse rulings from the parliamentarian. Over the last several decades, senators on both sides have refrained from such a dangerous move because of the precedent it would set. Here's another instance where, despite pressure from some in my party,
I do not want to hear anything about precedent from a fucking Republican.
He knew how detrimental it would be to the United States Senate as an institution. It's basically what we're hearing now about budget reconciliation and considering eliminating the Byrd rule is essentially a backdoor method to eliminate the filibuster and push the most partisan, controversial measures through with only a simple majority. In 2001, Senator Byrd said, reconciliation
Like
was
fucking democracy?
never intended to be used as a shield for controversial legislation. By depriving senators of their rights.
This isn't controversial, though. That's the crazy part.
Precisely what our Democratic colleagues are reported to be considering now. To overrule the advice.
To give money to help out our healthcare system, to give money to states, to keep them solvent, and to help them get fucking vaccines in people's arms.
I urge our colleagues not to go down this road. After all,
why is that controversial?
They learned a lesson now that the shoe is on the other foot when it comes to nominations and the filibuster. In 2000,
so you're telling Democrats, hey, don't do to us what we did to you.
The 60-vote cloture requirement.
How we jammed through a bunch of fucking judges after we got rid of the filibuster.
Legislative filibuster, but applied to nominees. Leader McConnell told...
These motherfuckers talk out of both sides of their asses all the time. You are a hypocrite, Senator Cornyn.
And as it turned out, he was right. As our colleagues now know very well, the Republican-led Senate confirmed more than 230 judges that were nominated by President Trump, all thanks to Harry Reid's rule change. This action cleared the way to eliminate the 60-vote cloture threshold on Supreme Court nominees, which led to the confirmation of 3 Supreme Court justices during the Trump presidency. There are inherent and perhaps unintended consequences of changing the rules in a place where your power is never permanently guaranteed. Chipping away at the rights of the minority may help you now, but you're sure to regret that someday, just as Democrats now regret the day Harry Reid cleared an easy path for hundreds of conservative federal judges. Madam President, there are a few ways to stop this madness before Democrats head down this dangerous path. The first is for President Biden to intervene and warn Senate Democrats not to break the rules by ignoring decades of precedent.
The cool thing about Biden has been like, hey, I'm not in the Senate anymore. They're a co-equal branch of government.
President Biden
and has indicated he's going to be rather hands-off.
United States Senator as evidence of his ability to reach across the aisle to get things done. This will be his first test.
But now, don't get me wrong, though. Two senators like Harris and Biden that were so entrenched in the Senate, now occupying the White House, they have backdoor channels. They can get shit done. So they don't have to publicly take a stance to try to whip votes in the Senate. They know what they're doing.
Will he urge Senate Democrats to pursue a bipartisan approach to legislating? Or will he give up on his single largest campaign promise less than 2 weeks into his administration? The second option is for our Democratic colleagues to speak up. Senators Manchin and Sinema stood up to the Democratic leader when he threatened to eliminate the filibuster.
Harris went and spoke in West Virginia and Arizona.
Dangerous. Whatever precedent you set or break when you're...
For some reason, Democrats are growing some balls.
...on the other side, which you inevitably will ultimately be. If Democrats destroy the budget reconciliation process now, it will clear the way for them to pass a progressive agenda with absolutely zero need for Republican votes.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Federal funding for abortions to heavy-handed climate policies. And when Republicans...
Federal funding for abortion. Bull fucking shit. Oh my God, listen to this fear-mongering asshole. And I see that a lot from right-wingers. You go to the comment section on a local news article, and they'll be like, this is fear-mongering. This is fear-mongering. That's all fucking Republicans ever do. They don't actually care about fucking babies. Well, I mean, some might care about fucking babies. Dennis Hastert was the child molesting Speaker of the House from the Republican side of the aisle. They don't actually care about children. They just care about looking pious, using it as a wedge issue. They think they can just call Democrats baby killers and their stupid ass followers, which they will vote for it based on that one issue. And there are like a percentage of people that do vote based solely on the issue of abortion and their misunderstanding of things. This is Jen Psaki this afternoon. Ask about President Trump.
President Trump has been barred from a lot of social media sites. Just curious whether you think his absence has made your job any easier or the White House's job any easier as it kind of goes forward on these COVID negotiations.
Look at, she's smiling. She's like, this is a layup.
He would have certain...
This is going to be fun.
Republicans who may be more inclined to take a harder position. Wonder if that's been anything that you guys have thought about or kind of considered.
This may be hard to believe. We don't spend a lot of time talking about or thinking about President Trump here. Former President Trump, to be very clear. I think that's a question that's probably more appropriate for Republican members who are looking for ways to support a bipartisan package.
I think it's a more appropriate question for Republican members who are still stuck up former President Trump's ass.
And whether that gives them space. But I can't say we miss him on Twitter.
Does President Biden support the continuing ban of President Trump on their sites?
I think that's a decision made by Twitter. We've certainly spoken to, and he's spoken to, the need for social media platforms to continue to take steps to reduce hate speech. But we don't have more for you on it than that.
So over the weekend, we learned a lot about Trump's legal team. And then we also learned that Trump's legal team is abandoning him. So we got George Conway.
George Conway, I'll start with you on the president's legal team.
This is Mika, I guess, this morning. Now, Trump has hired lawyers now. We're going to talk about them here in just a second because, they're fun. This is George Conway, husband of Kellyanne, giving his opinion on Trump's legal affairs.
Leaving him and him apparently taking on a new one because he wants to argue that he won the election. I don't know how many times you can put your hand on a hot stove before you realize that's probably not a good idea. But what do you make of Donald Trump clinging to this strategy?
It's classic Donald Trump. I mean, he will, till the day he dies, assert that he won that election, even though he knows he didn't, even though...
I don't know that he knows he didn't. I, honest to God, think he probably done some mental gymnastics and he thinks he fucking won it. What do you guys think? Do you think he knows that he didn't win it and he's just lying, a sociopath? Or is he like totally a malignant narcissist and is convinced he fucking won? And in this crazy ass fantasy world, because like I keep running into that with Republicans. I think they genuinely believe the batshit crazy things they say.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
All of it. All of it.
He's admitted privately that he hasn't. And his instability and his inability to be rational has always caused him difficulty in retaining lawyers. It happened.
Conway says he admitted he has.
For counsel, and he actually asked me for advice at that time about counsel for the Mueller investigation. And it happened again for the impeachment trial. He did have his in-house White House counsel staff argue some matters, but he couldn't get a truly good lawyer to argue for him beyond that. He's always had trouble getting lawyers to represent him for a couple of reasons. One is he's not a very good client. He doesn't take advice very well. He's unpredictable, and he doesn't pay his bills. So it's not surprising that he's had trouble here maintaining counsel. It's not surprising that he's asking them to violate the rules of professional ethics by making factually unfounded arguments, such as that he won the election. And it's actually not surprising that a week before the impeachment trial, he had to go out and find another pair of lawyers. And it's pretty amazing that somebody who supposedly is a billionaire and who was president of the United States has such trouble finding.
I'm glad he said supposedly a billionaire. Conway is right. What I don't understand is, okay, so PBS Frontline did this Trump's American Carnage documentary. And they had Frank Luntz, and they showed Frank Luntz's like whole hour-long interview that he did for them separately on YouTube. I watched that earlier today. So like George Conway still giving advice to Trump, even though like vocal on Twitter against him. Frank Luntz talked all through 2016 about how horrible Trump was. Says he left the Republican Party over Trump. Is still giving Trump advice up into 2017, 2018. I don't understand. I don't fucking get it. So let's talk about Trump's new impeachment team. He has hired a couple of new lawyers. South Carolina lawyers Butch Bowers and Deborah Barbier, Greg Harris, John Gasser, Josh Howard left the defense team on Saturday. The source said the lawyers left over a difference of opinion on the direction of the defense's argument. The new lawyers announced by Trump: David Sowen and Bruce Castor Jr. Castor Jr. was involved in a high-profile race. Also was an attorney representing Bill Cosby. I'm on Fox News, so it doesn't have the... There's a really funny quote. Assured Cosby wouldn't be prosecuted or some shit like that. Let's scroll up here. See if this is the video. I think it is here. Should be Chuck Schumer. Come on, Chucky boy.
I would simply say to all of my colleagues, make no mistake, there will be a trial, and the evidence against the former president will be
It's going to be next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer saying it's full speed ahead with the impeachment trial of Donald Trump, despite a vote this week that strongly suggests it will end in his acquittal.
I don't know about that. Just like Chuck said, they're going to present the evidence. And that evidence is pretty fucking damning when you look at it all together. Which ProPublica was awesome enough to do all the research for us. And they have this really neat thing I stumbled across over the weekend, which is a timeline of all the events from the Capitol laid out. These are the videos from Parler that were salvaged about the Capitol, all laid out in chronological order. It's amazing. I think it was something like 500 hours of footage that they've archived. The entire fucking thing. And they've even like marked the most egregious ones. The woman saying she's gonna shoot Nancy Pelosi in the head. Let's see what this fat fuck has to say.
Forward as hard as we can. While we're pushing forward, they're shooting us with percussion grenades. The Capitol Police are.
Well,
they're also
yeah.
pepper spraying us. They're bull spraying us. We got a couple of fights in the front. We got the front pushed forward. And they sprayed us all down with pepper spray. We're not going to stop. We're going to push forward.
And they didn't stop. So it's even time-stamped and everything. So this is an insane archive of everything happening. And so they've even got it marked like the red ones are inside the Capitol. All of this salvage from Parler, which I hope comes back. I was manipulating Parler in order to get more views on my videos and shit. Because it's really easy to do, because right-wingers are fucking morons. As evidenced by these fucking videos. They've got it all. They've got enough to convict him as long as there's some Republicans that will stand up and do the right thing. Fuck. Breaking news as we were coming on the air. Officer who shot Capitol rioter Ashley Babbitt shouldn't be charged, according to investigators. Miss Babbitt died after being shot by Capitol Police officer on January the 6th. The officer who shot her had been placed on leave soon after the riot, while Miss Babbitt's death was being investigated, including on the question of whether it was a violation of her civil rights. She was feet away from Congress people. The Justice Department said in announcing the investigation that it was following routine procedure for whenever a police officer uses deadly force by having the Washington Metropolitan Police Department examine the shooting. The police investigators have made an initial determination that charges against the officer aren't warranted, adding that the Justice Department officials haven't yet made a final determination on the matter. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington is leading the broader investigation. One of the most interesting things that we found out over the weekend about the Capitol riots, which shouldn't surprise anybody, is that multiple people in the riots didn't actually vote. Their votes weren't stolen.
The more delusional this whole thing becomes. My colleagues, Blake Ellis and Melanie Hicken, took a look at the 81st people, the first 80 people who were arrested at the Capitol, and their voting records, Brianna. And they found out that 10%, 8 of them, did not vote in the last election. You want to know who they were? Here's 3 of them right now. Donovan Crowell. He is the ex-Marine. He's affiliated with Oath Keepers. He registered for vote in 2013.
That doesn't surprise me.
In fact, the state of Ohio, the county, sent him a note asking for him to respond. They never responded. So he was actually removed from the voter rolls. This guy is charged in the detention of government property and conspiracy, destruction of government property and conspiracy. Jack Griffin is another one. He's 25 years old. He's from Tennessee, charged with violent entry. He did not
so
vote
happy
in
there.
2020, even though on social media he was posting things like, "Why, God? Why have you forsaken us? Trump still has a plan." Part of that plan should have been that he voted for Trump, which he did not. Grayson Courtwright, University of Kentucky. She
didn't even vote for him.
Charged with entering a restricted building.
Oh, this is the one that didn't know what treason was.
Did not vote, Brianna. Did not vote in 2020 for Trump. On social media, she was bragging about her participation, saying that she can't wait to tell my grandkids I was here, as for being there.
Yeah, because people were calling her treasonous, and she's like,
So
"What's
all
that?"
these people who actually went to the Capitol to protest and to storm the Capitol, I guess, to show that the vote was unfair to Donald Trump. Turns out they didn't vote at all.
God damn. It's just fucking embarrassing. And luckily, it's so embarrassing that they are actually leaving the party in droves over it. We have some indication that thousands have changed their voter affiliation since the Capitol riot. Also, exclusive, dozens of former Bush officials have left the Republican Party, calling it the Trump cult. These officials, some of whom served in the highest echelons of the Bush administration, said that they had hoped that a Trump defeat would lead party leaders to move on from the former president and denounce his baseless claims that the November presidential election was stolen. But with most Republican lawmakers sticking to Trump, these officials say they no longer recognize the party they served. Some have ended their membership, others are letting it lapse, while a few are newly registered as independents, according to a dozen former Bush officials who spoke to Reuters. The Republican Party, as I knew it, no longer exists. I'd call it the cult of Trump. Yeah.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder to not look like a kook.
You're all fucking kooks. And then, like, the thing is Trump is just, he's just laying everything bare. This is who the Republican Party has always been. Trump just says the quiet part out loud. Fuck. But Republicans aren't the only ones moving fast to distance themselves from Trump. Rumors have it that Melania has been told that she needs to move fast and divorce Donald while he still has access to some money. The pair's relationship has come under the spotlight in recent weeks following Donald Trump's election defeat to Joe Biden in November. Rumors have claimed that the couple are in the midst of a marital rift, according to the Daily Star. They say it is likely that Melania's advisors will be urging her to move fast, as a divorce could cost Donald an estimated $150 million. It looked like it was in euros or pounds or something, though. That wasn't a dollar sign. Melania could potentially lose cash at her husband's assets, as her husband's assets could become tied up, and he won't have the cold cash to pay out. An indictment for Melania will be neither cool nor fashionable to her acquired tastes, Mr. Schiff said. Charges against the former president of the United States of America will be the final act in her Trumpian saga that triggers a clear and present danger to their union. We've all been betting that she would be gone soon. Hopefully, someone that's going to be gone soon from some committee assignments is fucking nut job Marjorie Taylor Greene. Jewish space lasers, 9/11 was an inside job, fucking name the fucking conspiracy. This woman is a walking conspiracy bingo card. So, top House Democrats are moving to force Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene off multiple committees this week, with or without help from Kevin McCarthy. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer has delivered an ultimatum to McCarthy. Either Republicans move on their own to strip Greene of her committee assignments within 72 hours, or Democrats will bring the issue to the House floor. I'm liking this ballsy Democratic Party. Apparently, this is what happens to them when they face some pressure from the left. It's kind of refreshing. Last week, Greene was officially awarded seats on the House Education and Labor Committee and the House Budget Committee. Kevin McCarthy is saying he's going to have a conversation with Greene. Meanwhile, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, did I say that right? Yes, Asa Hutchinson was on ABC this week defending Greene.
The midterm elections next year and beyond that.
And one more question about a member of Congress, a new Republican member of Congress, Trump loyalist Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's long embraced conspiracy theories like QAnon, voiced support for executing Nancy Pelosi. Is she fit to serve, and should she be on the Education Committee?
Good Lord, no.
Well, first of all, the people of her district elected her, and that should mean a lot.
And that should be an indictment of the people of her district and how fucking stupid they are.
What she said and her actions. And then,
given her history, is she really fit to serve?
No!
I'm not going to answer that question as to whether she's fit to serve because she believes in something that everybody else does not accept. I reject that, but she's going to stand for re-election. I don't think we ought to punish people from a disciplinary standpoint, a party standpoint, because they think...
This is like this. A lot of this shit. Right-wingers love to do this. Like, oh, you're assaulting me for my opinion. It's not your opinion. You made a truth claim. That truth claim was absurd. You were wrong. You're stupid. I'm not assaulting you for having a difference of opinion. I'm telling you you're fucking stupid. Try not being fucking stupid. But they try to hide, oh, I just have my opinion. And then they try to make it a free speech issue. Oh, you're assaulting my speech. No, I'm using my speech to tell you you're fucking stupid. So it's not an opinion. It's not that she has a different belief. It's that she's batshit fucking crazy. Jewish space lasers crazy. Parkland hired actors crazy. Governor.
Something a little bit different. We have got to make sure that we don't divide our party. I'm more troubled by someone going in and opposing Liz Cheney because she took a different position than many others in the party. That's the kind of thing that tears our party apart. We need to.
I'm here for it. I'm standing that.
Primarying everyone just because we don't like how they handled things during the last
space lasers
post-election.
Pew pew.
Governor, you say you shouldn't go after someone because they think of something a little bit different. She believes in conspiracy theories, that there are pedophiles running Washington.
And that the Speaker of the House deserves to die.
I reject that, and I would not vote for her. I would not vote for her. The second question is, should the House of Representatives make a disciplinary call on her?
Yes.
I'm not going to get in the middle of that. They're going to have to make that judgment. But, you know, whenever you have
whenever you have other members of the House not feeling safe because they were accosted by her, I think it's time for her to be reprimanded. We played the video last week from Marjorie Taylor Greene's side. Here's what Cori Bush has to say about the encounter in the hallway of Congress.
Behind me, directly behind me, you know, and she's yelling into the phone directly behind me. I moved out of the way because now you're a threat. You know, you're a threat to me, and then you don't have on a mask. You don't care enough about it.
We saw the video that she's walking down the hallway like yelling into her fucking phone with her mask down around her neck. We watched that video.
To put on a mask. So I said, now mind you, by the time you heard my voice,
there's the video
further down the tunnel. Where hear of staff, team members of Congress members yelling at other Congress members? Where did you hear that happen at? That doesn't happen. And for her to turn this around to be a Black Lives Matter issue, that's not what it was. You should care enough about your colleagues. And if you don't believe in that, if you don't believe that we should have safety, if you don't believe that this is a true health crisis where 400,000 people in this country have lost their lives, if you will not honor that and respect those.
Almost 450,000. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. 100,000 people died in a month. Holy shit.
Families and respect the people in your community, 750,000 that you are supposed to protect, that you are supposed to serve and represent. If you won't do that, then let go of this job. It is not for you. And she can say whatever she wants to say. But the thing is, she did not have on a mask in that tunnel. And I absolutely spoke up. And it's not just about her, Joy. This is anybody, any Congress member who will not wear a mask. I'm going to speak up. Lisa Blunt Rochester spoke up. As many of us, we will speak up, and not just about that. We don't want you bringing your guns on the House floor. We don't want you bringing your guns into your office. We don't want you to just evade security and try to run through the metal detectors. No, abide by the rules. So
this is supposed to be the party of law and order.
Of our communities. We moved our office, Joy. Not because I'm scared of her, like not because I think that like I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm, oh my gosh, I'm so, that's not why I moved my office. I moved my office because I am here to do a job for the people of St. Louis. They deserve that. And what I cannot do is continue to look over my shoulder wondering if a white supremacist in Congress by the name of Marjorie Taylor Greene or anyone else, because there are others, that they are doing something or
goddamn right there's others,
has to be on St. Louis and the work that we can get done. And also my team deserves better. They should not have to come to work and have to wonder if that door is going to open that does not have a peephole, that door is going to open and it's somebody that does not want to do them well.
Congressman Cori Bush. Nail on the head. Now, unfortunately, we've got some really weird bad news. Congressman Stephen Lynch has tested positive for COVID-19 after receiving both doses of the vaccine. So, that's. He received both doses prior to Inauguration Day, according to his spokesperson. Another Democrat from Massachusetts, Representative Lori Trahan, announced Thursday she had also tested positive, Both lawmakers are reportedly asymptomatic. Now, that is one thing, that after you get the vaccine, even if you do contract COVID, which is a possibility, apparently it will severely limit your symptoms and your viral load. While Mr. Lynch remains asymptomatic and feels fine, he will self-quarantine and will vote by proxy in Congress during the coming week. Trahan said in a statement that she would also vote by proxy while self-quarantined. She received her first shot of one of the vaccines last week. The CDC says it is possible for people to test positive after receiving one or both doses of the vaccine. It typically takes a few weeks for the body to build immunity after vaccination. That means it's possible a person could be infected with the virus that causes COVID-19 just before or just after vaccination and still get sick. This is because the vaccine has not had enough time to provide protection. Public health experts have stressed that it can take a week or two after the second shot for the vaccine to reach its maximum efficacy. According to the CDC, people who have received both vaccine doses are still advised to wear masks and practice social distancing and good hygiene. Experts don't yet know if people who have received the vaccine can still spread the virus even if they don't get sick themselves. Woo. Once again, we got some good news, bad news on the whole COVID front. Let's start with some of the bad news here. Infectious disease experts say we need to speed up vaccination ahead of a potential COVID hurricane.
You and I spoke about this current race against these mutant strains and about the vaccine distribution, and you seem to you said something that really stuck with me, so I want to show this screen of, this is the efficacy rate of the first doses of the three of the vaccines, Moderna at 80%, Johnson & Johnson 72%, Pfizer at 52%. Again, all the first dose efficacy rates. Do you believe we are now at a point where we may have to call an audible here on how we distribute the vaccine?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I have been one of those saying that we need to make sure that we have both first and second doses and follow the FDA approval process. But let me say right now, we do have to call an audible. I think it's no doubt about it. The fact is that the surge that is likely to occur with this new variant from England is going to happen in the next 6 to 14 weeks. And if we see that happen...
New surge! New surge! 100,000 people died in the last month. 100,000 people in the last month alone. And that's another, like, New York is lifting restrictions, California is lifting restrictions. They're talking about getting schools back open. What the fuck is going on? Why am I living in the fucking Twilight Zone? It's opposite day. It's the worst this epidemic has been the entire fucking time. And people are acting like we're on the other side of it. What the fuck? Anyway, Dr. Osterholm, continue.
In which my 45 years in the trenches tell us we will. We are going to see something like we have not seen yet in this country. England, for example, is hospitalizing twice as many people as we ever hospitalized.
Absolutely.
Number. And so we do know that if we look at these first doses, that in fact we can even get higher numbers than you just laid out by the time of the third week after vaccination. So we still want to get 2 doses in everyone, but I think right now, in advance of this surge, we need to get as many 1 doses in as many people over 65 as we possibly can to reduce the serious illness and deaths that are going to occur over the weeks ahead.
And we've already seen all these different variants: the South African variant, the South American variant, a California exclusive strain, because California is trendy like that, and the UK variant have all been detected inside the US. They're probably spreading unabated right now. But here is some of the good news. U.S. hits pandemic milestone with more vaccinated. We have more people vaccinated than we have cases. Thought only the ACA caused that. So, more Americans have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine than have tested positive for the virus, an early but hopeful milestone in the race to end the pandemic. As of Monday afternoon, 26.5 million Americans had received one or both doses of the current vaccines. That's actually pretty good. I didn't think we were that far along. And one of the reasons we've been able to get to that milestone is thanks to a hardworking Chick-fil-A manager in South Carolina. This is a wild story here.
Get
now,
the what you want and get it now on the ABC 7 News app.
Fuck Chick-fil-A, but when a South Carolina drive-through coronavirus vaccine clinic got backed up, leaving people waiting for hours, the town mayor decided to call in a professional for help, a Chick-fil-A manager. I've only been to a Chick-fil-A like once since they've got the new fancy, but they've got the, I don't know how they're doing it during the pandemic. I certainly haven't been there. But like the last couple of years where they got the people with the iPads walking around in the different cars and shit. Local hospitals in Mount Pleasant opened the clinic on January 22nd for residents eligible to receive the first shots of the COVID-19 vaccine. Shortly after the drive-thru opened, the computer system handling registrations went down, causing hundreds of people to wait in heavy traffic. With the help of a few additional volunteers, Walkawayk. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I assume that's the Jerry Walkawayk, the manager of the nearby Chick-fil-A, transformed the messy traffic jam into a smooth operation, reducing the hours-long wait to just 15 minutes. More than 1,000 people received the vaccine that day. Cool! Now, unfortunately, the vaccine has a little bit of a side effect, according to this rabbi. So, 1,000 people getting that vaccine in South Carolina. That could have been 1,000 people adding to the numbers of the gays. Popular rabbi warns followers that the COVID vaccine could make you gay. In addition to purporting a false link between vaccines and homosexuality, Rabbi Daniel Azer also claims that both the virus and the vaccines are the work of a global malicious government. Usually when you hear somebody talk about globalist cabal, it's a fucking Jewish dog whistle. But here I got a fucking rabbi talking about it. I would love to ask him who he thinks. Found out the plan. I would love to ask him who he thinks is the new world order he's talking about. Usually that's a fucking Jewish conspiracy. What the fuck? This isn't a satire side, is it? Israel Hayam, this better not be a satire site duping me. So even the community he's from has recorded extremely high morbidity rates due to repeated flouting of social distancing directives. We played a video of like a Jewish wedding they did, and it was packed. I bet that was a super spreader event. Now, if you got the COVID vaccine and you also got the gay with it, you may be interested in the newest COVID swab tests developed by the Chinese. So here's a demonstration of their newly developed COVID-19 test. I just stepped on a cat.
采集的时候，让它放松，然后咱用咱们这个就采烟水的这个烟水的棉签儿，然后让它捅进肛门，捅进去之后两三厘米，然后转3圈儿，然后拿出来看。
Oh my God, the dummy has balls. Fuck me.
有没有颜色改变？有的话，插到咱们这管里。
It was just that easy. All right, now on to the stories that are going to piss us all off. First one is, this one's a doozy. Content warning. This one's been going around the internet. It's very hard to watch. This is a 9-year-old girl in Rochester, New York. Some sort of domestic dispute happened, and they had detained her father.
Come on. I'm going to punish you, and I don't want to. Sit back. Then sit back. Come on. This is your last chance, otherwise pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on, let's go.
Sorry, just keep me safe for a minute.
Come on. I want my dad. Come on. I'm going to go get him. Now sit back. Come on. I will fix it. I will fix it.
Dear, just stop for a second and take a deep breath. Hey, just stop.
Please. I will get your dad. No, you said that you were going to pepper spray me. No, please, no, stop. Sit back. Oh, I got a bad one.
Just spray her.
No, I have
Just spray her at this point.
Stop. Stop.
Dear.
Stop.
I got her. I got her.
Please wipe my eye. Wipe my eye, please.
This is why I say fucking defund the police. There is nothing. Whatever they detained that little girl's father for, there was nothing about it more illegal than what they did to that little girl. Both of them need to be charged with assault on a minor. How many fucking cops do you have out there anyway? God, there's 5, 6, 7. Holy shit. Absolutely, it was some dumb shit. And I'm getting tired of watching these videos. Every time the cops do something that's far worse, far more egregious than what the perpetrator supposedly did.
We demand justice for Tatiana through an independent, thorough, and transparent process.
That's family of a Tatiana Jefferson who was shot and killed by a Fort Worth police officer in her home.
This is a different fucking story. This is another one to be pissed off about. I wanted to get more about this 9-year-old girl. The Democrat and the Chronicle newspaper reported that prior to the release of the videos, Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren expressed her concern for the child that was harmed during the incident that happened on Friday. The girl can be heard in the video screaming frantically for her father as the officers try to restrain her. They described the 9-year-old girl as suicidal. I bet! You're the reason! You fucking traumatized her. Fuck. Qualified immunity along with their fucking unions. We need to bust police unions. I'm tired of seeing, like, those cops I'm sure are on vacation right now, paid administrative leave or some shit. You and I would be fired from our job immediately if we did anything remotely like that. Fuck. Speaking of people that need to be fired, Rihanna going after Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. I shall not repeat what Riri said. Looks like Daniel Cameron tweeted out about the first day of Black History Month.
Hi everyone, this is Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Today marks the first day of Black History Month. For the next 27 days, we take time to remember and celebrate the contributions Black Americans have made to our nation. Now, the road hasn't always been easy, but over the course of our country's history, there are countless examples of Black men and women whose talents, contributions, and determination have altered the fabric of our nation and put us on a path toward building a more perfect union. I know that I would not be here in this office, serving as the first Black...
If you hadn't sucked McConnell cock to get to where you're at. So Daniel Cameron helped cover up the grand jury findings. Or not the grand jury findings. God, this is so complicated to explain. He used the grand jury as a shield to say that they said there should be no charges. But he absolutely steered the grand jury in a certain direction, would not allow them to even consider certain charges. Riri is not the first pop star, R&B star to drag Daniel Cameron publicly. Back in the fall, Megan Thee Stallion took some shots at him on SNL. By the way, fucking love Megan Thee Stallion. Holy shit. But speaking of SNL, let me rant about something real fast. What the fuck is a Machine Gun Kelly? What was that? What was that performance? And I just assumed, I don't think his guitar was even plugged in. I don't think he was playing anything. He sucked. And he might have been lip syncing. I like some shit music, but I don't know what the fuck Machine Gun Kelly is. So I saw a story on Fox News saying he fell off the stage. So I was like, oh, well, he's really high, and that's why he sucked. No, Pete Davidson knocked him off the stage at the end. He might have still been high. I don't know. Fuck. It's embarrassing. Tennessee police officer has resigned over a Forrest Gump blackface photo. I did my best to find the fucking picture. Apparently their kids are in the picture, so great example you're setting for your children. So no news organization has published it, and it looks like it has been scrubbed from the internet pretty well. Yikes indeed. Police officer in Tennessee has resigned while another has been reprimanded after they posed for a photo with a child in blackface. An investigation was launched into Knoxville police officers Leah Miller and Todd McFawn after they posted the picture on their personal Facebook pages over Halloween weekend last year. Police spokesman Scott Erland told Newsweek that Miller and McFawn, who are married, had watched Forrest Gump with McFawn's two daughters and decided to dress as characters from the film for Halloween. One of the children, dressed as the character Bubba, wore army fatigues and had her face painted. So it was a kid they blackfaced the kid. Don't try to tell me that cops don't have a racism problem, especially when we've got this jackass in neighboring state, Georgia. So let's see what this police chief has to say.
He said, you know, what they're saying now is, well, he didn't have to shoot him, it's just a taser. Then how come when you tase a f***ing nigger, it's like you done killed him 27 times? If I had a fucking nigger, I'd rather f*** the mayor than Stacey Abrams. Yes, sir.
911 Hamilton.
I don't own no slaves. My folks didn't own no slaves. Hey, you know, what do we talk about? 200 fucking years ago? Hey, I've been doing I do a lot of stuff on my family history, on Ancestry. I did find evidence of some slave owning part of my family, even though we're from Ohio and there's nobody up there. But I'm going to tell you, looking at Chris's family, holy man, let me tell you what. After the Civil War was over with, he became an overseer on a plantation. So he was in charge of all the slaves. It seems to me like they furnished him a house to live in.
Oh, God.
Clothes to put on their back. They furnished him food to put on their table, and all they had to do was fucking work. And now we give them all those things, and they don't have to fucking work. That's it.
Oh, Jesus! Holy fuck! Chief in Georgia has resigned and one of his officers fired after video surfaced of an absolutely shocking racist conversation in which they casually dropped the N-word and say slavery met the needs of black people. Hamilton Police Chief Gene Almond and Patrolman John Brooks didn't realize Brooks's body cam was recording during their racist conversation, because not only are cops racist as fuck, they're also dumb as shit. The patrolman talked about who he'd rather have sex with, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms or voting rights activist Stacey Abrams. As far as I know, yes, there was a lot of people that left, and especially Southern Ohio. I don't know about being founded by white supremacists. It was Oregon that was founded by white supremacists. But there are, if you drive into Southern Ohio, you will see a lot of Confederate flags. For some reason, there was a lot of people that left Appalachia, Tennessee, that region, and went up to Ohio. I guess for factory work and shit. Holy fuck. 16 Tones, did you miss that just horrendous racist conversation we just listened to? I hope you did, and you didn't have to hear that. I'm still appalled. California Sheriff's Deputy charged with faking an attack. You can, if it was 90% bleeps. He dropped a lot of N-bombs, made some horrible excuses for slavery. It was everything you would expect out of a old police chief in Georgia. Suckdeep Gill, a Santa Clara County deputy who claimed that he'd been shot in his body camera last year, was charged with fabricating the attack. Well, said he'd been walking back to his patrol car on a dark road near a reservoir when a silver sedan pulled up and cut its lights, and someone inside fired at him from the passenger side window. He screamed shots fired on his department-issued radio. When other officers arrived, swarming the area, Deputy Gill appeared to have been shot in the chest where the bullet had been stopped by his body camera. Several other bullets had hit his patrol car. Deputy Gill said he had fired 2 shots back at the sedan before it drove off. At a news conference last February, law enforcement officials praised Deputy Gill for his bravery and vowed to find the gunman. Prosecutors said Deputy Gill faked the attack. On Friday, Deputy 27 was arrested and charged with staging the ambush. They declined to discuss a motive or explain how Deputy Gill might have staged the shooting, saying the crime remained under investigation. The deputy's body camera was too damaged to recover any footage. Shit. That's the whole reason I wanted to read this story, is I wanted to find out why the fuck he faked it. As the investigation progressed, there were more and more inconsistencies with Deputy Gill's story, and it got to the point that the story did not add up. Huh. And he's just placed on leave. Fuck! He made up a story. They've charged him with a felony. And he's just been placed on leave. He hasn't even been fired. There's something goddamn wrong with the way we treat cops in this country. Oh. All right, guys. So it's time to get to this. Woke up this morning, or maybe I even found out before I even went to bed last night, because apparently it happened this morning in Burma. Or Myanmar. So the military has taken over the country of Myanmar. They have placed leader Aung San Suu Kyi. I said that multiple times earlier today. Make sure I could get it right. I believe she's under house arrest. She has been under house arrest multiple times. I'm going to do my best to cover the history. This goes back way fucking back. Aung San Suu Kyi has been a bastion of democracy. Brought democracy to the fucking country. But since being elected, I think chancellor is her title. She wasn't allowed to be president because of the Constitution. We got to go back a whole ways, though. Myanmar has been conducting an ethnic cleansing of Rohingya Muslims. This goes all the way back to World War II. The Rohingya took the side of the British, whereas the Burmese people were on the side of the invading Japanese. So there's been this war between the two factions in Myanmar, going all the way back to World War II. San Suu Kyi's father was the first to bring democracy to the country. He was the one that led the revolution that separated the country from the British. Shortly after, there was a military coup, and the family was exiled. San Suu Kyi's mother, who had been a politician, stayed in the country. While she left and lived in Britain, she actually married a British guy. She returned to the country in the early 80s to take care of her mom. And that's when an uprising happened in the country. But it would be years before they actually had free elections. It was up until the 2000s. It's a whole thing that's been brewing over. Her party, I think NDL was the name of her party. We'll get it here in the story. We're going to actually read the story of what happened. I'm trying to give you the background on exactly what's going on. Apparently, she has come to power and she has been very hesitant to speak out about the rights violations, the absolutely ethnic cleansing that's been going on of the Rohingya Muslims in the majority Buddhist country, where the military, by the Constitution, has to have 25% of the seats in Parliament. And you have to have over 75% approval to change the Constitution. So you can't change the Constitution without the military. So that's why they had to actually make the position of, I think it was Chancellor is what they named her. In order for her to, that's why they call her the de facto leader of Myanmar. Because she's not actually the president. They had to make a title for her to get around the Constitution. They have won seats in Parliament overwhelmingly by landslides, her NDL party. But the military leaders apparently, the military leaders have been the ones that have been raping, burning down villages of the Rohingya and running them out of town. A lot of them have fled to Bangladesh. But this morning they detained Suu Kyi and staged a coup. They also detained other MPs, it looks like. President Win Myint was also arrested early Monday, just hours before the newly elected government was due to be sworn in, as tanks, soldiers, and helicopters were deployed around the capital. The generals struck amid fears that Suu Kyi would use her new mandate, which saw her humiliate military-backed parties by getting 83% of the votes in the election held last year, to reform the Constitution and remove their stranglehold on power. And I watched an interview where a British reporter is asking her about the ethnic cleansing of the Rohingya, and it looks like there's a gun to her fucking head. So I wonder how much sway the military actually has had over her. So apparently this general was facing forced retirement from the military and was thought to be eyeing a life in politics as a way to retain power. He's probably calculated now that there is no electoral means by which he could stay in power, so now, coup. The military has claimed that the fresh elections will be held within a year and that power will be transferred to whoever is the winner. The world is indeed in a trouble. Democracy. And there are not enough people talking about democracy in the world right now, and it saddens me. I hate that the focus so much of our country has been on like the spread of capitalism and the idea of capitalism. No, democracy is where it's at. Democracy is the idea that we should be fighting for all over the world. I think I said NDL. It is NLD is the name of her party. The NLD released a statement, which they say had been written by Suu Kyi before her arrest, which called for the people to protest against the coup, while warning that generals want to put the country back under a dictatorship. And seriously, they have not been a democratic country for like 10, 15 years. I think the current constitution was written in 2008. And even still, it was written with 25% of the military in power. This is Suu Kyi. So this is video inside Myanmar. Wild. Okay, so I've got this, I found this reporter that was in Myanmar, and she live tweeted the whole thing as it was going on. I think it's she. Oh, fuck, I can't make it bigger. Okay, this is Thunt on Twitter. I guess I'll be live tweeting a coup now. Things are still pretty quiet for now, though people are awake and scared. I've been fielding calls since 6 a.m. from friends and relatives. The internet is in and out, and my SIM card no longer works. Trying to figure out what to wear has never been so high stakes. Do I choose a, I don't know how to say that, longi and sandals and blend in better? Or do I wear pants and sneakers for better mobility? I honestly don't know, and I understand the golden triangle there. But I do not know enough about that area to make an informed decision. For the longest time, I thought Myanmar was the Western name for it, and it was actually Burma. But like, it's not. Like, Myanmar is like what the name of the country is in the Burmese language. That's the way it's pronounced. Learned that today. I thought that was cool. They changed the name of the country somewhere in the 2000s, I think. Around the time of the Constitution was in 2008. ATMs near my apartment are no longer working, and there are rumors that banks won't be opening today. I walked 10 blocks now, and every NLD flag I saw in the last couple of days is gone. I suppose no one wants to be an easy target. I wonder if there are people frantically scraping the NLD ASSK card decals. Remember, they want 83% of the vote. Incredibly popular party. The market is busier than usual, but she says that there are a lot more male shoppers. So she thinks that it's busier because males are accompanying the women. Snippets of the convo I overheard this morning regarding the coup. It can't be helped. I told you so. We know them. Things are so normal that YCDC is still harassing poor street vendors in the middle of a coup. So apparently there is some sort of government function going on. She says she hasn't gotten any communications from the U.S. Embassy through their Safe Traveler program, though she was constantly getting COVID updates. Nor have they posted anything to their Facebook page. Biden hasn't made a statement on it, and so far the Biden administration's position is to impose sanctions, it would seem. So she says she's been logged out of Signal, Telegram, etc. overnight. Can't log in since she can't get a verification code because cell service is down. Her WhatsApp is working. Citing 417 and 418 of the 2008 Constitution for the coup, stating that there's been widespread protest against the handling of the election and the election results. Huh? Sound familiar? So she says people were at her door. As she goes dark, tweet at Joe Biden to save her. Shit! Multiple rumors of the internet being shut down. But who even knows? It's Myanmar. Anything can happen. 3 cars with Myanmar just drove past blasting patriotic music. The back of the truck was loaded with men carrying swords. I think that was the video we just watched. Another caravan, this time a mix of monks and lay people. Some in desert camo. Some dressed in camo, I'm sorry. They are chanting for the good health of the general. Cargo ships that was scheduled to go out tomorrow have been told the schedule is suspended. My aunt called the coup rude. Her aunt said this is just like when I was a child, these exact tactics. This is not the first time Myanmar has been taken over in a coup. If I were a better Buddhist, I would possess the chill to nap during a coup like this man. So that gives us a little insight. More pictures of the military in the streets. Myanmar MP Papa Han was live streamed on Facebook by her husband as the military turned up to arrest her on Monday night. That's this video right here. Of course, after the ad. I tried to rip the videos off of the site, but Daily Mail does this little fun thing where like every fucking ad is a video, and I didn't even know which video I needed to yank. Smart on you, Daily Mail. Make me turn off my ad blocker too. But it was the absolute most comprehensive story I could find on this. So this is the MP being arrested by the military. Live streamed to Facebook. She seems awful calm. I guess she's like, hey, I've been through this before. The backslide of democracy, though. That's my biggest worry about the world that we're living in right now. I'm a poor person. I grew up in one of the poorest areas of the world. Not just Eastern Kentucky, of the world. Democratization is the reason why I've been able to rise above that station in life. So it definitely worries me that we're backsliding so much. Alright, I usually try to end on a fun story, usually something with dogs or cats. I did not have one of those today. Instead, I'm going to end on something fucking crazy. Drone video. Shows this damage to Highway 1 in California. Just a huge chunk of the highway gone. Fuck. Holy sh! This is the first time I've seen the pictures. I saw a picture from the other side and it didn't look. Wow. Whoa. That I gotta see that again. I want to see the fucking. Oh, they're doing the Georgia sheriff story as well. Oh shit. Fucking that crater. I'm assuming they got some really heavy rains over the weekend. Just goddamn. Yeah, I had no clue. I saw a shot from the roadway. That's... Holy fuck. I'm floored by that. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. If you're on Twitch, I'm gonna send you over to Riverboat Jack. Be nice to her. I have a big crush on her. So go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.